हे प्रभु आनंद दाता, ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता, ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। ज्ञान हमको दीजिए प्रभु, ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। शीघ्र सारी दुर्गुणों को दूर हमसे लीजिए। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता, ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। लीजिए हमको शरण में, हम सदाचारी बने। लीजिए हमको शरण में, हम सदाचारी बने। ब्रह्मचारी धर्म रक्षक, वीर व्रतधारी बने। ब्रह्मचारी धर्म रक्षक, वीर व्रतधारी बने। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता, ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। प्रेम से हम गुरुजनों की नित्य ही सेवा करें। सत्य बोले झूठ त्यागे, मेल आपस में करें। सत्य बोले झूठ त्यागे, मेल आपस में करें। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता, ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। निंदा किसी की हम किसी से भूल कर भी ना करे। दिव्य जीवन हो हमारा, तेरा यश गाया करे। दिव्य जीवन हो हमारा, तेरा यश गाया करे। हे प्रभु आनंद दाता, ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। ज्ञान हमको दीजिए। Welcome this morning, and as I walk through this higher state of learning in this beautiful school in Jamaica, Queens, New York, USA, the bhajan is so appropriate. Oh Lord, give us that divine knowledge. Jnana humko dijiye. Divine knowledge. What is that divine knowledge? We want to be omnipotent. Divine knowledge, 100% and 100% of the time, give it to me. Give me the inspiration, give me the willpower, give me the desire to have that divine knowledge. And Lord, I want to be like you. I want you to be all pervading. I am already that. Help me to rediscover. I'm all over the place. There's only one consciousness, and it's all over the universe. It cannot be divided, and we are all part of that consciousness. We are not separated. Adi Shankaraja would have said there is a Advaita philosophy that he would have said that there's only one consciousness. It cannot be divided. He did not believe in the theory of individual souls. And it makes so much of sense, because we are all bonded together. We are all one together. And then, omniscient. We are all knowing the past, present, and future. That is the potential that we all have to unleash. As a human being, we have to unleash that potential, and then we'll be living to our full as a human being. And then this will be the last cycle of birth and death. The sansar will be ending. What a beautiful way to start this morning. Those inspirational thoughts. And think like that throughout the day, that we are all gods and goddesses. You know, there's a nice song I like to sing. And Swami Parameshananda would have sung it when he was in his path to God realization, when he would have swum over the canal with his few boys, friends, school friends, and they will set up a little, they dug a pond and make a high spot and make a thatch shed. And there they would be sitting down in that thatch shed, wee hours in the night, and they'll be singing songs. He will have a good singer there, and one of the songs that he loved was singing the Bhaja Govindam. And this Bhaja Govindam is something that all of us have to come to sing also. It's not because for only Swamijis, but only for everyone at every stage of the life, because it was sung by Adi Shankaracharya. Who is Adi Shankaracharya? Om Sada Shiva Samarambam Sankacharya Madhyamam Asmaracharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Pranavanandam. Oh, Lord Shiva, you existed in the beginning without that name and without a form. You are from you came the building blocks for the creation, for all of creation, this universe, this planet, including our system, with the sun in the center. And this morning, let us bring to our presence Surya Narayan. Om Bhara Bhavasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhara Bhavasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Yes, I was talking about a song, and it goes like this. Dinam api rachini Shayam prata Shishira basantu punarayata Kala krirati gacha stayu Starapina muncha tyashavayum Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Muramate Prapti Sannehite Morane Nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. What a beautiful song. Bhaja, that word bhaja, it's loaded, it's all-encompassing. A total surrender to Krishna Bhagwan, he was asking. But which Krishna Bhagwan I'm talking about? The one in the Murti? Or the one in the Virat Roop, where Arjuna saw the whole universe in the body of Krishna Bhagwan? Or is it the Krishna that is made up of the 5 elements? Or is it the Krishna and the brilliance in nature? Well, these are all aspects of Krishna, 5 aspects of Krishna. But the Krishna that I'm talking about, when he was talking in the Bhagavad Gita, he was talking about Krishna, the Krishna of consciousness, the Krishna without name and a form. And this, when Arjuna realized it, then he would have pulled back and say, oh my Lord, I was thinking that you're very ordinary, but you are the Lord of the universe. You're everything, Krishna. And then he realized who he was in the presence of. Are we going to realize too that we are in the presence of Krishna? And for us at the BHARAT SEVASHRAM Sheng, he's known, the Swami Parameshananda ji. Who is he? Om Namo Sri Bhagavate Pranavaya. Om Namo Sri Bhagavate Pranavaya. Namo Nama. Namo Nama. Namo Nama. Namo Nama. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. Namo Nama. Om Namo Sri Bhagavate Pranavaya. Om Namo Sri Bhagavate Pranavaya. Tum hi Brahma Vishnu, tum hi Maheshwara, Devadi Deva Mahadevaya Namo. Om Namo Sri Bhagavate Pranavaya. Om Namo Sri Bhagavate Pranavaya. Who is this Pranavananda? He's no other than the creator, the sustainer and destroyer, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. He's no other than that God with form. When we see it with form, we affectionately call him Guru Maharaj. And when we don't see him with form, when he leads us, he takes us inside and break the bonds of this illusion that was created, this magic that was created when the universe manifested itself. Oh, you know, our challenges this lifetime is to break from this bond of our mind telling us that we are just this body, we are just the mind, we're just the intellect, we're just the ego. We have to break from those bonds. If we don't, then what happens? Then we would not have a successful life. Successful life is not yes, we have to have basic needs, and we have to make human effort. We have to live a life brahmacharya and do studies and have a good education. So many people have dropped out of school and they suffer. Not that they are working in menial jobs. That's necessary. We can all be doctors and lawyers. Somebody has to do the farming. Somebody has to do the picking up the garbage. You know what I mean? We are all the four divisions of labor, where we have the Sudra, where this is the worker class of society, Brahmana. That's the educational parts of the society, the gurus, the indicated ones. Not that you were born Brahmin, but anyone can be a Brahmin when he elevates himself to that level. And then we have the Kshatriya. These are the defense people that protect the country within and from outside interference. And then we have the Kshatriya Vaishya. The Vaishya, this is the business class people. They provide all the services, like whatever we have to eat and all of that. So this morning, we all have to elevate ourselves. And Swami Parameshananda ji, I had the opportunity of serving under him so many years. Imagine, God comes to his devotee and snatches them out of their mundane life. 50 years after he passed away in 1991, he passed away in 1941, 1991, he would snatch me out. And from then on, what happens? He has taken me gradually to do his work. One of the biggest things that I remember doing, the most enjoyable one, was to revive the Bhajitpur ashram, his birthplace. It was in a terrible shape. The road coming from the main road, the bridge, there was no bridge cross. There was a bamboo bridge, 2 bamboo, and you step on it and it's all shaky over the canal. And then the canal was cutting into the property, and the Buddha Murti fell inside. And when Swami Parameshananda would have do his meditation after his bath, that pond was being eroded and become part of the canal. We were able to restore that road, build a solid bridge for commercial vehicle to come in, and then the government paved the canal. And today when you go, the place is revived, because that's where God took birth. That's where God got realization. He came as God, but his Leela was to demonstrate that how do you go back to that full state of consciousness. Wow, isn't it so beautiful that a God comes out? Remember in Marka SEVASHRAM, him coming out of the Murti. He will come in dreams. He will give instruction during meditation. He'll put me at the right place at the right time on one event after another. And then what happens? You become an instrument in his hand to be all over the world. He would have said, mountains and seas are no barriers to my work. What a day. I will infuse life into clay and make them that instrument in my hand. And I felt the same way that he would have infused life, that divine power inside me to do all his work. And so many of the devotees and the monks of BHARAT SEVASHRAM saying, we have fantastic stories to tell you, like divine stories. So this morning, I've said a lot, but this Bhaja Govindam. Kashtvam koha kutta ayata kame janani ko me tatta iti parvayo sarvam sharam vishwam tvaktva sapna vicharyam bhaja govindam bhaja govindam bhaja govindam muramate prapti sanne hite marane nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. You have to ask yourself, where did you came from? What is your purpose here? Who is your father? Who is your mother? What are your relationship? And what are you supposed to accomplish in this one? Oh, Adi Shankar is just so powerful that he is an incarnation of this Lord Shiva. And we're looking at the lingam with the sun glowing on it there. Let us do prayers to Lord Shiva. Om Guru Shivaya Namah. Om Sri 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 Guru Shivaya Namah. Oh, we're doing adorations to Lord Shiva. And you know, Adi Shankar Chad and Swami Parameshananda, these are all incarnations of Lord Shiva taking these names. Anyway, this morning it's so beautiful. The bhajan is so powerful. That's Angam Galitam Palitam Mundam Dasana Vihina Jata Tundam Vridho Jati Grihitwa Dandam Stadapina Muncha Asha Pindam. Now you become an old man, and what happens? That you have no teeth, you have gum to chew the food, but the desire is there to what? Well, we have to do the Pinda Shraddha, but more than that, the greatest desire and attention and importance to be, God, I want to become like you. Krishna, I want to become like you. Krishna, you without the name and the form, take me back to that place. And this is something that is go home. Bala stavat kridha sakta taruna stavat taruni rakta vridho stavat chinta magna parame brahmani kopin lagana bhaja govindam bhaja govindam bhaja govindam muramate. When you were a little boy, little girl, you were playing. Then you get a little older, you want a boyfriend, you want a girlfriend. And then later on you get into marriage and all of that. But you never go into the sannyas. The majority of people don't go into that stage. It's a natural progression that when we reach around 65 or so, then we have to be in sannyas and state, meaning that you have to go and think all about becoming one with the Lord. But you can't wait until you're old. Throughout the life, the brahmacharyam life and student life, that's the foundation. If you don't do that, build that foundation and get a solid academic and a religious spiritual education, then the rest of the life, your marriage life will be a struggle, because number one, you won't have the knowledge, the basic academic knowledge, let alone the religious and spiritual. And then all your time, mind and body will be totally engulfed in how to make a basic living. Struggle is there. How to accumulate money to put food on the table and pay the rent or pay the mortgage. All of these things we have to prepare for. And then when you go into Varnpress, you're supposed to detach yourself after you've fortified your family, children are married and they're gone. Now it's time for you to gradually, you would have saved enough, you retire from the job, and what you're doing, you'll be like making your most pilgrimage now because you have strength in your body, and do austerities. And then after that you come into sannyas totally. If we don't do that, devotees, and we spend our time when we're old, you know, people like to go in America, they like to go on cruises and all of that thing. Well, it's good, but you do it. But at the same time, live a balanced life. If you don't live a balanced life, oh, man ki aankhein khol Baba, man ki aankhein khol, man ki aankhein khol Baba, man ki aankhein khol Baba, man ki aankhein khol. Hari bol, hari bol, hari hari bol. 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 दुनिया क्या है एक तमाशा, चार दिनों की झूठी आशा, ज्ञान तराजू हाथ में लेकर तोल सके को टोल बाबा, मन की आंखें खोल बाबा, मन की आंखें खोल. Open up your mind. Call the name of the Lord. Let it flood your memory. Let it flood your mind. The Lord's name. And then you want to weigh your life in the scale. One side, are you deeply embedded in wanting to accumulate and enjoy worldly creations, or are you tipping the scale and you want to find out where you came from? Do you want to rediscover that you are the gods and goddesses that you worship? No, better than that. You want to really go to the point where you become that building block. You are the efficient cause and material cause. From you the universe came, consciousness, and from you life was infused into what was created. This is the ultimate goal. Today let us honor Swami Parameshananda ji and the great gurus. Om Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murti, Puja Moolam Guru Param, Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. Bala Sisi Guru Maharaj ki jai. Krishna Chand Bhagwan ki jai. Well, it's nice to have you today. I feel so good. I said a lot. I hope take your time and listen to it. Spend a few minutes a day listening to the scriptures. Spend some time doing meditation. Spend some time do worship. Go to your altar. And most of all, spend some time doing some kind of good every day. Meaning that you're doing for others, not for yourself. Hari Om. Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om.